simply exhaled, a slow, quiet sigh that felt too heavy for her age. Lena's friends were less contained. "Oh come on, Lenny," one of them groaned. "It's just a dress. Let's go." "Yeah, she'll be fine," another whispered loudly enough for anyone to hear. "It happens." The girl looked up for the first time. Her eyes were soft, dark, and calm, a calmness that didn't belong to someone her age. She wasn't angry. She was resigned, as if this kind of thing happened more often than it should. I'm really sorry," Lena stammered, reaching out with a handful of napkins. "I didn't see you, I swear." "It's okay," the girl said gently, her voice steady, almost practiced. "I'm used to accidents." Used to accidents. Those words pinched something inside Lena's chest, but she brushed the feeling off. "No, please, let me help you," Lena insisted. But the girl shook her head with polite finality. "Really, it's fine." She knelt to gather her books, now smudged with sticky soda fingerprints. People around them murmured, some watching with sympathy, some with annoyance at the disturbance. Lena felt her cheeks burn, not just from embarrassment, but from something deeper she didn't understand yet. The girl didn't wait for approval or apology. She simply gathered her things, adjusted her bag, and walked away quietly, leaving Lena standing in the middle of the food court, holding useless napkins and a growing knot of guilt. And without knowing why, Lena found herself watching the girl leave, unable to shake the feeling that this moment mattered more than she understood. The mall was alive with the usual weekend rush, children tugging at their parents' hands, teenagers weaving through crowds, and the rhythmic hum of conversations blending with music leaking from store speakers. In the center of it all, the food court buzzed like a giant beehive, tables jammed with shoppers escaping the chaos for a moment of greasy comfort. 17-year-old Lena Hawthorne, daughter of billionaire tech magnate Thomas Hawthorne, stepped out of a soda line holding a large Coca-Cola that was already dripping condensation down the sides. Her eyes weren't on the path ahead, they were glued to her phone as her friends spammed her with messages about which store they should visit next. Her father often warned her about being careless, but warnings had little weight when you grew up in a world where mistakes were fixed with credit cards and apologies were optional. She walked briskly toward her friends seated near the fountain. "Guys, I'm coming, don't start without me," she shouted, glancing up with a grin. But she didn't see the small figure crossing in front of her, a girl no more than 9 or 10, balancing a heavy stack of library books against her chest. The books were almost as tall as her torso, the edges worn, some pages sticking out. She walked carefully, every step measured, as though she had carried the weight 1,000 times before. It happened in a single second, quick, clumsy, irreversible. Lena's arm bumped into the girl's shoulder. The girl gasped. The Coke slipped from Lena's hand. A cold, sticky wave cascaded forward and splashed directly across the girl's dress, soaking the fabric from collar to hem. The cup clattered to the floor, ice cubes skittering across the tiles like small marbles. The sound cut through the noise of the entire food court. Several heads turned. Lena froze, eyes widening in shock. "Oh my gosh, oh no." The girl looked down at herself, watching the brown liquid drip onto her shoes and into the cracks of the floor tiles. Her dress was simple, light blue cotton, carefully washed but clearly worn. The Coke darkened the fabric instantly, spreading in uneven blotches. But the girl didn't yell, didn't cry, didn't even scowl. She simply exhaled, a slow, quiet sigh that felt too heavy for her age. Lena stood frozen for a few seconds after the girl walked away, holding the damp napkins she never got to use. Her friends were already gathering their bags, annoyed at the delay. But Lena couldn't move. Something about the girl's calm, resigned voice replayed in her mind like a stuck record. "I'm used to accidents. Kids shouldn't be used to things like that." Finally, she snapped out of her daze, tossed the napkins aside, and hurried through the food court. She scanned the crowds, searching for the little blue dress ruined by Coca-Cola. It took her almost a minute before she spotted the girl heading toward the mall's side exit, the one that led to the older part of the shopping district. Lena jogged to catch up, the sound of her sneakers echoing against the tiled floor. "Hey, wait," she called out, breathless. The girl stopped slowly, almost reluctantly. She turned around, gripping the pile of wet books against her chest. Her dark hair clung to her forehead, and her small shoulders seemed even smaller now that her dress stuck tightly to her skin. Lena approached her, words tumbling out before she could filter them. "I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to spill the drink on you." "I know," the girl replied softly. "You didn't do it on purpose." Her tone wasn't defensive, just factual. She had accepted it, almost too easily. Lena tried again. "Let me help. I can get you a new dress. Or at least clean those books." But the girl hugged her books tighter, as though they would be taken from her if she loosened her grip for even a second. "No, I can't. I have to take these to my aunt's bookstore before she closes." Lena blinked. "That's where you were going? With all those books?" "Yes. We run a small store on Rose Street. I shelve the books after school so my aunt doesn't have to stay late." The girl shifted the damp stack and winced as the water dripped down her arms. Lena hesitated, feeling the heaviness of guilt. Most kids her age spent afternoons on tablets or watching cartoons. This girl spent hers shelving second-hand books. "What's your name?" Lena asked. "Maya," she answered. "I'm Lena," the billionaire's daughter said, almost shyly. She wasn't used to introducing herself, not like this. People usually already knew who she was. But Maya just nodded like the name meant nothing special. Lena swallowed. "Let me at least carry one of the stacks. Please." Maya studied her face carefully, as though trying to decide if she could trust her. "Books get heavy," she said after a moment. "And some of these are old." "I can handle it," Lena insisted. For the first time, a tiny smile appeared on Maya's face, soft, brief, but real. She handed Lena the smallest stack, the ones least damaged by the soda. "Thank you," Maya whispered. They walked together down the quieter hallway toward the exit. The noise of the mall faded behind them, replaced by the distant hum of street traffic. The route they took wasn't polished like the rest of the mall. It was the old wing, with cracked tiles and fading paint. Lena had never walked this path before. "What are those books for?" she asked gently. "Some are returns, some are donations," Maya explained. "My aunt says books deserve a second life. Even the damaged ones." Lena looked at the stained covers in her hands and felt a strange sting in her heart. "I might have ruined some of them." "It's okay," Maya said again. "We've had worse ones donated." Her voice was calm, but her eyes told the truth. Books mattered to her. These weren't just objects, they were something she cared about deeply. As they crossed the street, Maya added quietly, "We don't have many new things. But we take good care of what we have." That sentence hit Lena harder than she expected. Her world was full of abundance, new things, replacements, upgrades. Maya's world was one where even ruined books still held value. And as they walked side by side toward the bookstore, Lena realized something she'd never felt before. She didn't want to be the kind of person who walked away after causing someone harm. She wanted to be different. She wanted to make this right. By the time they reached Rose Street, the sun was dipping behind the buildings, turning the sky a hazy orange. This part of town was different from the polished glass storefronts Lena was used to. The sidewalks were cracked, the paint on the signboards faded, and the buildings looked older, lived in, loved in, tired but still standing. Maya stopped in front of a narrow shop squeezed between a laundromat and a repair store. A wooden sign hung above the door, hand-painted in fading gold. Bennett's Book Nook. Second chances for stories. Maya pushed the door open, and a soft bell chimed. The smell of old paper, ink, and polished wood floated into the street. To Lena, it felt like stepping into a different world, quiet, warm, and full of secrets. Inside, tall shelves packed with books lined every wall, reaching almost to the ceiling. Mismatched lamps cast golden pools of light across the space. A few chairs were tucked into corners, each with a stack of novels beside them as if waiting for someone to curl up and read. Behind the counter stood a woman with kind eyes and a tired smile, Maya's aunt. Her hands froze mid-motion when she saw the Coke stains on Maya's dress. "Oh sweetheart," she whispered, stepping toward her. "Again?" Maya shrugged, trying to act like it didn't matter. It was an accident. Her aunt's eyes softened, but Lena caught the flicker of worry there. A worry that came from dealing with things too often. Before the woman could ask more questions, Lena stepped inside, holding the stack of books she had carried. It was my fault, she admitted, her voice small. I wasn't looking where I was going. I'm really sorry. Maya's aunt blinked in surprise. Most teenagers Lena's age, especially ones with expensive sneakers and designer clothes, didn't follow strangers across a district to apologize. Well, thank you for helping her, the woman said quietly. Most wouldn't have bothered. Lena's cheeks warmed. I really am sorry. As Maya went to put the books on a sorting table, the aunt gently touched Lena's wrist. Don't mind her if she brushes things off. She's a strong girl, stronger than most kids her age need to be. Lena didn't know what to say, so she nodded. With Maya busy sorting, Lena let her curiosity pull her deeper into the shop. The walls were covered not only with books but with framed photographs, awards, certificates, newspaper clippings. She leaned in to read the titles. Local girl wins state robotics competition. 10-year-old inventor creates device to help children with dyslexia read faster. Young STEM prodigy receives National Junior Tech Grant. And in all of them, standing proudly with her bright smile and big, hopeful eyes. Maya. Lena stepped back, stunned. This wasn't just a little girl carrying books. This was a kid genius. A real one. A child who had invented things, accomplished things, earned things. Accomplishments Lena could never imagine achieving at that age, not even now. But Maya had walked through the mall silently, almost invisible, carrying damaged books in a stained dress. She didn't brag, didn't seek attention, didn't expect anyone to care. Something twisted in Lena's chest, shame, admiration, confusion all tangled together. Why didn't she tell me who she was? Why didn't she defend herself? Why did she just accept everything? As she studied the photos, Maya's aunt quietly stepped beside her. She's brilliant, the woman said softly. Sometimes too brilliant for her own good. But brilliance doesn't stop life from being hard. Lena swallowed. Does she have a lot of responsibilities? More than she should, her aunt said. Then, after a pause, her parents passed when she was 6. It's just the two of us now. She helps me here every day. Lena's heart dropped. Suddenly the Coke spill felt 1,000 times heavier. Maya wasn't a girl used to accidents. She was a girl used to surviving them. And Lena understood, with a sinking feeling, that this wasn't just a mistake she needed to fix. This was a child whose world was very different from her own, yet somehow far larger and more meaningful. The bell above the door chimed again, startling all three of them. Maya looked up from the sorting table, her aunt paused mid-step, and Lena turned instinctively, expecting another customer. But the person who stepped inside was the last one she expected. Thomas Hawthorne, her father. Dressed in his usual charcoal gray suit, tall, composed, and unmistakable, he filled the room with a presence that seemed too large for the cozy little bookstore. His eyes scanned the shelves first, curious, before landing on Lena? His voice held equal parts confusion and surprise. Dad, she choked, heat crawling up her neck. Of all places for him to appear. Here? Maya's aunt straightened instantly, recognizing the billionaire from news articles and television interviews. But it was Maya who looked the most confused, her small eyebrows pinching together as she studied the man. What are you doing here? Lena asked, still struggling to process the moment. Her father stepped farther into the shop, careful not to bump into the overflowing shelves. I've been trying to track down a young inventor in this district, he explained. A remarkable girl named. His eyes landed on Maya. Recognition lit his face. Maya Bennett. Maya's mouth opened just slightly, the way it does when a child hears their name in a place they never expected. You know me? She whispered. Thomas smiled, warm and genuine, something Lena had never seen him direct toward a stranger, especially a child. I've read your research summaries. Your dyslexia reader prototype is extraordinary. The board at Hawthorne Innovations was deeply impressed. Maya blinked in disbelief. But I only sent a short description. I didn't think anyone important would see it. Thomas laughed softly. Great ideas don't have to be long to be brilliant. Lena stared between the two of them, shock tightening around her like a bind. Her father, her billionaire father, was here for Maya? Her father continued, stepping closer to Maya but keeping his tone gentle. I've been visiting local community labs and schools all week trying to find you. They said you might be in this district. He gestured around the bookstore. I didn't expect to find such a treasure of a place, too. Maya's aunt covered her mouth with her hand, eyes watering. You were looking for Maya specifically? Yes, Thomas said. Her work has the potential to change lives. And we want to help her continue her education, fully funded. Whatever she needs. Programs, tools, mentors, scholarships. Everything. Lena felt something heavy drop in her stomach. She had spilled Coke on a girl whose inventions her father admired, someone he considered important, promising, brilliant. She had dismissed her. Ignored her. Needed her to forgive her. But Maya didn't look triumphant or proud or overwhelmed. She just looked small, stunned, like she was afraid this moment might disappear if she breathed too hard. Why me? She whispered, voice trembling with sincerity. Because you see problems the way real innovators do, Thomas said. And because bright minds shouldn't be dimmed by circumstance. Maya swallowed hard, tears threatening at the corners of her eyes. Lena stepped forward, finally finding her voice. Dad? Maya and I met today. I spilled a drink on her. The shame in her chest surged. I didn't know who she was. Thomas raised an eyebrow, studying his daughter carefully, but he didn't scold her. Instead, he knelt beside Maya. What happened was an accident, he said gently. What matters now is what we do moving forward. Maya nodded, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. And what we do next, Thomas continued, glancing at her aunt, is make sure your talent gets the support it deserves. Lena looked at Maya, really looked, beyond the stained dress and the damp books, seeing not the girl she bumped into, but the girl her father came searching for. A prodigy. An inventor. A child who had every reason to give up, yet never did. And Lena felt something inside her shift. This wasn't just about apology anymore. It was about respect. It was about recognizing Maya for who she truly was. And what happened next would change both their lives. The bookstore felt different now, brighter somehow, as if the warm glow of the lamps had deepened. Maya stood in the middle of it all, overwhelmed by everything that had just happened. Her aunt held onto her shoulders, steadying her, while Thomas Hawthorne spoke quietly with them about next steps, funding, opportunities. But Lena couldn't look away from Maya. This whole time, from the spilled Coke to the walk across town, she had been focused on her own guilt. She wanted to fix the mess she'd caused, to make it right. What she hadn't expected was to meet someone who made her question who she was, and who she wanted to be. As her father finished speaking with Maya's aunt, he turned to Lena with a calm, steady look. I'm proud of you for taking responsibility, he said softly. Most people wouldn't have followed her. You did. Lena swallowed hard. Praise from her father was rare enough to make her eyes sting. But she shook her head. I didn't do enough, she whispered. I want to do more. Thomas nodded, his expression warm. Then start by being her friend. Her heart thudded as Maya approached, her small hands still hugging the damp book she had rescued from the spill. She looked up at Lena, shy but hopeful. You didn't have to come with me today, Maya said. But I'm really glad you did. Lena let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. I'm the one who messed up. And I'm the one who's glad you let me walk with you. Maya smiled, a real smile, bright and full and warm. The kind of smile that seemed to chase away every shadow in the room. Everyone makes mistakes, she said softly, echoing her own words from earlier. But not everyone tries to make them right. Something about the sincerity in her voice hit Lena deeply. She reached out, hesitating, then gently held out her hand. Maybe we can start over? Maya tilted her head. Start over? Yeah, Lena continued, as friends, if you want. Maya studied her hand for a moment, then reached out and placed her own small hand in it. I'd like that. The handshake broke into soft laughter between them. Thomas cleared his throat. If you two are starting a friendship, I think we can arrange something even better. He looked at Maya and her aunt. How would you feel about joining our weekend STEM program? Lena attends sometimes, you could work together. Maya's face lit up, glowing with excitement. Really? I could go? Not could, Thomas said, smiling. Should. Her aunt's eyes grew moist. You're giving her a chance she never would have had. Talent deserves doors, Thomas replied gently. We're just opening them. As plans were made, contact information exchanged, schedules discussed, Lena drifted toward the framed photos on the wall again. She saw Maya in each picture, determined, brilliant, hopeful. And she made a quiet promise to herself. Not just to apologize. Not just to feel bad. But to be better. To grow. To be someone Maya could rely on, not someone who hurt her, intentionally or not. When they were finally ready to leave, Maya walked them to the door. The night air was cool, the street quiet except for the hum of distant traffic. Lena took a last look at the little bookstore filled with stories, dreams, and possibilities. See you soon? Maya asked, hugging her books again. Definitely, Lena said. Her father placed a gentle hand on Lena's shoulder as they headed to the car. Today changed you, he observed. Yeah, Lena whispered, because of her. As they drove away, Lena looked out the window at the glowing shopfront disappearing behind them. She knew their worlds were different, wealth, struggle, privilege, hardship, but something stronger connected them now. An accident brought them together. But understanding, respect, and unexpected friendship were what would keep them there. And this was only the beginning of a story that neither girl would ever forget.